Hey everyone, welcome to Coach Cruise. I'm your host Brad, and I'm back. Yes, I'm back from a great cruise on the Carnival Horizon. So I guess I gave away a little bit of the title right there. The title was it as good? Was it better? Or was it worse? And I'm going to go over a little bit of that right now. But I'll tell you, it was just so nice to get back into cruising. Period. Um, I don't know if it was Eric from North Shore Travelers. I think he said something to the effect, that, well, it was a cruise, so I'm sure you're happy with it. But I have a new gold medalist in terms of the comments. I always say the top three are on the podium. So we have Yvonne, who took care of my back the last time we had a live in studio. But she says, hello, Brad. Hope all is well. And my back is still nice and clean because, it got waxed. A lot of you saw that. So great for checking in, Yvonne. Thank you. And then we have Justin back. Haven't seen Justin in a while. I didn't know where he went off to, but he was absent for a little while. Good to see Justin with the silver medal here. We got Seg back once again. Hey, coach and everyone with the bronze. We have admin Tim says, good evening all. Says hello to Yvonne and Seg. And Will G is here, and he just got off a cruise as well. Just made a comment on one of his posts. He went to El Cielo, and for those of you that know me, and people ask for recommendations for Cozumel all the time, and I've hooked people up with some vendors because El Cielo has not typically been a thing that you could book through a lot of cruise lines, and you have to go through a private vendor. What El Cielo is in Cozumel, since so many cruises go to Cozumel, it's a natural sandbar, just off the coast in Cozumel. Absolutely breathtaking. It's like a swimming pool in the middle of the ocean. You'll see occasional stingrays swimming around. They're not bothering you. That's just their natural area to swim around. And basically, what it's the most, world's most beautiful tailgate is what I've called it in the past, because what you get is you get a bunch of boats that just come down there and park, and then they'll turn their music on and everybody's just partying and everything. So I saw a picture there from El Cielo, and that's one of the stops I'll be going on in a future cruise. I believe it's my spring break cruise. So we'll check that out. I got Zoe over here trying to attack the treat bowl, and most of you know what that's all about. But for those of you that are new to the show, we will go over that in just a bit. Let me say hi to everybody else that's here, though. Sandy the Lost Pirate Jenkins is here. Good to see you again, Sandy. The Texas Cruiser is back. Yoli is going to be on my next cruise, on the New Year's Eve cruise. She is back once again. And Dolan, great to see you again. Yvonne is saying hey again. Cruise Life TV and Greg and Michelle, they will be on that very same New Year's Eve cruise. Carnival Vista, that's the next one coming up in just about 3 weeks. Can't wait already. Jeff, I wonder, I'm guessing that's the Jeff I met on the ship. Him and Deborah, we had a great time hanging out with them most of the time in the Alchemy Bar. They got us in the comedy show one night too. So, that was a lot of fun as well. So Jeff, good to see you checking in. If it's the Jeff that I'm thinking of, if it's not, then, well. And then we have admin Aaron here, and Marjorie is back once again. Great to see you again, Marjorie. Yvonne says, I need to try one day. Never been on a cruise. And Yvonne, if you hang out with all of us cruise crazies, we're going to convince you to do a cruise. So just if you want to do one, keep watching the show and we will get you in here. And yeah, Zoe, she's being a little diva and only wanting to be on camera when she's being fed treats. So yeah, she's been doing that lately, getting to be a little bit of a diva. And then, okay, and Tim said, let's get her a treat. From 2 weeks ago, we had given away a bunch of shirts, hot tea. Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad. See, this is why I write everything down, because I would forget otherwise. Yoli hot tea, Amy, I believe, yeah, those were our shirt winners. And then I still owed Brad from a couple weeks ago. He messaged me, so I got to send off some shirts. But we hadn't got through the last 100, and we had Frankie Floyd, who had number 1. Tim G had 2 through 6, and Sherry Bell 7 through 26. So now we're going to put Tim G again, and that means, Tim, you are 27 through 36. And so anybody new that we have, how the system works here is I got these nice little treats that Zoe likes here. Come on, treat time. And anybody that does a $10 super chat, Zoe is very happy to accept a treat from you. And if anybody does a $15 or more super chat, not only does Zoe do a treat, but I do one as well. So, and then once we get to 100, I draw everybody's. That's why I assign everybody numbers. And then I say, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. She squirts out a number, and whoever falls on that number gets a shirt, and I send it to you free, a Coach Cruz shirt. So high five for Tim and Cheryl. And what do you say? Yeah, so that's a big hearty thank you. So thank you for getting us started with that, Tim. And yeah, we are off and running. All right. Okay, so Jeff, yeah, it was the very Jeff. They are up in Canada, Jeff and Deborah. They are avid Harley Davidson motorcycle riders and really cool people. So good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. Scott is here from Controversial Cruising. Good to see you. And we got Z. Z is here. Z Show Cruise Fun. What's going on? And I think we're all caught up. So let's get you going with my cruise. And it was wonderful, as we already have a couple people here that were on the cruise with us. Aaron was on that cruise as well. And then Aaron was with her the whole week, and we had a wonderful time. And I titled the show As Good, Better, or Worse. So the last 2 cruises I've been on, obviously everybody knows the whole debacle with Australia. Well, most of you do. So it was the Venezia, and then prior to that, the Horizon once again. And the Venezia was a little bit of a different ship. It's got that Italian theme and so on. And it's a little more confined. They have a little bit more shade, not as many. The decks aren't as open, so you don't have those really big Lido decks with, where you see just a whole slew of people doing dancing and packing the Lido deck to have these mega deck parties and stuff like that. There's not as much room for it on that Venezia. So in terms of the layout of the Horizon compared to the Venezia, even though they're sister ships, I would say I like the layout of the Horizon much better. I like more of that open concept. One thing I did appreciate about the Venezia is if you're somebody that's seeking more shade and solitude, there were a lot more areas to do that. But if you're looking for that traditional cruise experience, then the typical Carnival ships are going to give you more of that. So from that perspective, I would say the Carnival Horizon was better. Now, specialty restaurants, I raved on the Venezia about Il Viaggio, I think it was. That was their specialty restaurant that they have on the ship. And the Mile High Gelato Pie in particular was what I was really fond of. But I had a really great meal at Il Viaggio. Now on Carnival Horizon, there was Gigi's, there was Cucina de Capitano. Now those were only $24, whereas Il Viaggio, I believe, is roughly around $40. So it's a significant upcharge compared to those 2 restaurants, but it's less than the steakhouse. And I would have to lean towards paying less than steakhouse price to go to Il Viaggio on the Venezia than going to either Gigi's or Cucina de Capitano, even though it was a good meal at both places. I just remember that meal at Il Viaggio being really good. and comparable with like the steakhouse or something, and it was about almost $10 cheaper. So I would lean that way in terms of specialty restaurants. Now, food in general, the food on the Horizon, I thought was really good. In the main dining room, Thanksgiving dinner, for example, I was pretty happy with. The turkey wasn't like hand carved or anything. It was like cut off of a turkey breast or something like that. But it was still pretty tasty. And the desserts didn't have too many desserts, but they were all pretty good. The ones that I did have. So I would say the food overall on the Horizon, couldn't complain. Only went to a couple shows, went to the Welcome Aboard show and went to Celestial Strings in terms of the playlist productions, mostly in part because I've seen, was it Soulbound several times. I've seen Vintage Pop several times, even though they're great shows and all that. And Amor de Cubano, seen that before. Celestial Strings, like, I pretty much am just going to go see that no matter what ship it's on. I love that production. Always one of my favorite productions. So that was really good. And it didn't disappoint once again. So really enjoyed that. Let me catch up on some of the comments here just to see. Oh, we got M. M is back. Good to see you, M. And Jeff has lots of snow there. I tell you, we got lots of cold here in Chicago, but not so much snow yet. And I'm not looking for too much snow. So M, welcome to the show. Dun, 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 dun. And not too many questions or comments. Cruise Life TV, I love my bike, but she would ride with me and the bike would just sit in the garage, but it went to a good home. Okay. So I didn't know that about you, Greg. So those of you who didn't know Greg and Michelle, Greg was a DJ before. So he used to spin records and all that good stuff. And then Eric, I was just talking about you earlier. I don't know if you just jumped on, but I was talking about the comment you made about, any cruise is a good one, and you're not wrong. So we have cold here in New York for now. No snow yet. Well, good. Yeah, usually the cold isn't going to... was John Wick still there? No, John was not. If he was, Will, I did not see him. Most of the people that you remember were not there. I'll tell you who was still there. Will's talking about the Horizon, some of the bartenders. Those bartenders that you might have remembered were Karen and Diana. They were there, when you last went on the cruise, because I know you had gone a couple weeks before me, and then they were there again. They got extended, and I guess they're going to get off like the first week of January. Now, Karen is still working in the Alchemy bar, but I guess because they got extended, they gave Diana the choice of bars she wanted to work to. So she had been working like crazy in the Alchemy bar. So she said, hey, put me in the piano bar. They have a new piano bar player who, well, at least when we were there, hardly anybody was going to see. He's okay. Not great, but he did, he tried hard. He was decent. But, just not a lot of people were going into the piano bar to watch. So it was a much easier role for her to hang out there. And we went in, made sure to say hi and all that. So it was good seeing both of them again. But one of my favorite alchemists just came on to the Horizon, and that is Zora. So Zora is in the Alchemy bar now. Some of you may be familiar with Zora. She's wonderful. The last time I saw her was on the Magic. As a matter of fact, I've made a few short videos with Zora in it. She's truly one of the best alchemists. And little news flash she let me in on. She said that she's probably only going to do one, maybe two more contracts. So maybe this one and one more after that. So those of you that are going on the Horizon in the next 6-7 months, you'll have the pleasure of being served by Zora. And she's really good. Jamie, also pronounced Jaime, a gentleman that's an alchemist. Since the first time I've had the pleasure of... Jamie is a really cool guy, really good alchemist. And those of you that are bourbon fans out there, he makes this chocolate old fashioned. I kid you not. It's the first time I had a chocolate old fashioned, and he actually puts a wedge of chocolate in it. But it is a really, really tasty old fashioned. And I didn't even start drinking those until like one of the last nights. And I saw him make one for somebody else. And I'm like, did you just put chocolate in there? He's like, yeah. And I had been having Zora make all my drinks, or Karen, since I knew them. But he's a really friendly guy. So, I think that you would definitely enjoy him. And yes, and I see many of you saying happy birthday to Eric. And yeah, it is, definitely happy birthday, Eric, over at North Shore Travelers. And he is, I know we got Aaron on the show, and that's another comment that Eric had made in regards to seeing Aaron in her Packer jersey on one of the videos that I released. And he said, yeah, I don't think I like that Packer jersey. Why he doesn't like it is because he's from Minnesota, and guess who he's a fan of? Not the Packers, but the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are doing well. So he is not rooting for any Packers, or in support of Packer jerseys, I guess you could say. So yeah, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so talked about the food, talked about the entertainment. Other entertainment that we enjoyed a couple times. There's this guy by the name of Arvin, and I know the comedians change ships all the time. They're only on for a half a week, and then they change ships. So I don't know if you'll run into this Arvin. He's been on the Kevin Hart show, I guess, a few times, but he was very funny, and enjoyed him a couple times. It was really good. The ports were the ABCs: Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And let's see, I think Aruba was our first port, and in Aruba, went to the beach, and it was called Manchego. And prior to going to the beach, I don't know how many of you watch my videos that I've released so far, but on one of the first nights, I went to the casino. The casino was not friendly at all on this cruise. So much so that the casino host decided to help, soften my wounds, so to speak, and said, hey, why don't you take a $200 credit and go up to the spa? And so I used that $200 to help pay for a week pass to enjoy the thermal suite. So at least 3 different occasions, we went up there and enjoyed the thermal suite. And, for those of you that don't know what the thermal suites are, that is in the spa area. And they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have at least 4 spas, or, steam rooms or saunas. There's an infrared sauna. There's a laconium, the heated benches combined with the sauna type air. There's a wet steam room, that blows out a lot of steam. That might be my favorite one. And then there's a aroma steam room. And then, of course, they have the whirlpool in the middle of the spa there. And then they have all those reclining chairs with the I can't think. But it's got kind of like that stone kind of recliner that's smooth, and you can throw a towel over it, and there's gentle heat that comes up through them, and you just kind of lay back and you can pass out, which I did. And I was told that, I passed out one time and my mouth was just like, that, because I just had conked out. But it was wonderful, and helps you recover. And like I said, I really like going into those steam rooms and steam baths and such, because especially when you're drinking a lot and you're taking advantage of the Cheers package, which I was, you get dehydrated and you have all that alcohol and those bad toxins in you and everything. So I made sure to buy several big bottles of water, and then I would go into the steam room and just drink a big bottle of water and then sweat out as much of that as I could. And that makes you feel a lot better. So I'd highly recommend that if you're going to get the Cheers package. Either, go into a sauna. And by the way, there is a free sauna on the Vista class ships in the men's and women's room, there is, one free sauna. So you don't have to purchase that thermal suite in order to get in there and to sweat out some bad toxins. But yeah. So we got Rick, the Texas Cruiser. Let me write you down here, Rick. I'm going to put Rick TC. And you are numbers 37 through 41. So we are 59 away from giving away another shirt. And I see that there are over 30 people watching the show right now. So thank you, each and every one of you. And if I could thank you again, if you haven't already hit the like button, if you could hit that like button, and then let's help get this show out to a few more people. All right. And I'm going to take a drink. I just have Coke Zero in here so far. Yeah, Tim says you didn't have Carnival Cruise addicts luck at the casino. I did not. And Tim's not wrong. Liz and Chris, Carnival Cruise addicts, many of you are followers of them as well. And they are avid casino people. They play a lot of slots. They play table games. They play a little bit of it all. And yeah, I mean, I know they're on a cruise right now. I think it's the Liberty that they're on, but I think they just got on yesterday or something. So they're probably in the casino as we speak, enjoying the casino. And anyway, one of their previous cruises, just one or two ago, I had said, hey, I want to see a video, while you're on this cruise of you getting a hand payout. And a hand payout is more than $2,000. So when you win, a $2,000 or more casino jackpot, the machine basically shuts down and it says call attendant, and it shows how much they have to pay you out. And that's a really fun experience. I think I've had that happen to me one time. And I don't play near as much slots as they do, but it's a really cool experience when it does. So they sent me a video. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so awesome. I forget how much it was. But then I kid you not, 10, 15 minutes later, they sent me another one. They had hit 2 big jackpots right in a row. And then it was a couple days later, but then they hit a third one. So they had a really good cruise. I think that was 2 cruises ago, because the most recent one I'd asked them, and I said, hey, did you have as much luck? And they're like, nah, this one was kind of a dud. So yeah, you're going to have some good cruises and some bad cruises. But one thing, when you gamble as much as them, they get a lot of these super, super offers. So when they go into their room, if you watch their videos, they already have 2 big bottles of alcohol in there, that is complimentary from Carnival. I think they get some free excursions. I think they get free drinks all over the ship. They get a whole bunch of stuff. And then the cruise is next to nothing or free, just minus port fees and taxes and stuff. So yeah, gambling in some cases pays off. That's assuming that you don't lose enough that it would pay for all of that cruise and then some. But yeah, they have Carnival Legend. Tim, I was thinking Legend earlier, but the last time I knew about the Legend, Jake, the cruise director that had previously been on the Magic, he was in Europe with it. So I guess it must have crossed back over here again. And look at that. We got Rick is drinking some Buffalo Trace tonight. And I still have some Buffalo Trace, but I don't have it out. I have the Clark and Sheffield bourbon, and we got about that much left. So if anybody does a $15 super chat, I will do a toast to you. So yeah, it might be Carnival Legend, and that's a nice ship. Jeff says we just booked MSC on the New World America for November 2026. And I know Jeff, because I said Jeff and Deborah, we had met just on the Carnival Horizon this past week. I think they're on the celebration for New Year's Eve next year. And I am currently on the Vista, but I think it was Yoli. Oh, Mandy, I just saw your comment up there. Mandy is here. Did I miss anybody else? I hope I didn't. But yeah, Jeff's on the celebration, or no, celebration for Thanksgiving next year. That's what it was. Right now, I'm on the Horizon, I think, again for Thanksgiving. And then New Year's Eve, the Vista this year. And I was supposed to be Vista next year. And I have a deposit on it already, but I can get the Jubilee for like $1,000 cheaper New Year's Eve next year. And I was telling Yoli about it because I think they were already booked on the Vista next year as well. All right, Jeff, MSC on the New World. And I got to start getting out on some of these other ships, on some of these other lines. Shane is here, so sorry I'm late. Coach and Zoe just got off work. That's okay, Shane. Glad to see you. I hope work went well. And yeah, Texas Cruiser is saying that will be a nice cruise, Jeff T. And yes, it will. Any cruise is a nice cruise, right? Better late than never. Yep. And okay, Zoe, come here. Try to get Zoe up here again. You have somebody saying hi to you. There she is. Being rude, sitting down there when people are saying hi to you. All right. So, last time I was on the Horizon was in the Havana area. The Havana rooms were all sold out. So missed out on the Havana area. Love the Havana area. The Havana area on the Vista class ships are the best. And the Vista that I'm going on, in about 3 weeks, not in the Havana there either. But it's okay. Usually doing so much around the ship that it's fine. And we're going to have a big group going. A lot of coach cruisers, Cruise Life TV is going to be there. We have friends from, down in the Fort Lauderdale area, Pembroke Pines, Rod and Vicky. And I think Trisha is there. Aaron, who else? Craig Michelle, I mentioned. Oh, our friend from Texas, Sandy, is going there with her kids. And oh man, I'm going to forget somebody. So I apologize if I forget anybody, but we have a couple other people too coming. The bar crawl. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the bar crawl. So the bar crawl was crazy. And that's probably going to be the next video I release. Actually, I'm working on a food tour video, but in the next 2-3 days, I'll have the bar crawl video out. But we had over 60. I would say, let's see, I had lays, and I think they were 24 in a package. So that makes 72. And I think there was 4 lays left over. So 68 people at least started the bar crawl. Now, not 68 finished, but, that's because they fall off, after getting a little bit too much of a buzz and things like that. But yeah, it was something. It was definitely something. So Nathaniel Orvis is here. He says, "Hey, Coach, just joining. Hope you had a great trip on the Horizon." Yes, it was, Nathaniel. And thank you for asking. And Jeff is going to be his birthday, November 2025. Okay, so Jeff, happy belated birthday, because obviously it was just November. I did not know that. Oh, wait. You know what? No, I take that back. I think it was your birthday the first couple days of the cruise before we really got to meet you, I think. So maybe that, I'm vaguely remembering that. We got Michelle and Greg. And yeah. I mean, if there's still room available on that Carnival Vista, I think it might be sold out, because I was going to do like a mock, booking to see if there was any rooms just the other day. And I clicked on to search, December, and it wouldn't show me anything. So I think most of the December cruises are booked. And yeah, so, but yeah, if there's always last minute cancellations and things like that, or you can call Carnival directly. Sometimes if you check the website, it might show something is sold out, but then you call the people and there's one or two rooms available. So we got Ben here. Good to see you, Ben, up the road in Milwaukee. Nathaniel said we had a fabulous time the week before. Cozumel was fabulous. Yeah, Nathaniel. And so you got to see the last week that Diana was working in the Alchemy Bar along with Karen. And I think Zora was in the piano bar. And then the first week, last week when we were there, that's when they switched it around. And Zora was Alchemy Bar and with Jamie, and Karen was relieving them and stuff. So yeah. Yes. Okay, Jeff. Yes, on the 24th. So let's see. What do we start? The 23rd. So it was the second day. Yeah. And Jeff, a couple times, Jeff's a funny character for those of you that don't know him. You'll probably see him in some of my videos and pictures and things like that. But Jeff enjoys the spirits, the little bit of alcohol, a little bit of adult beverage. So he got a little sloshed a couple different days on the cruise. But you know what? Hey, you're not driving, right? So you can, as long as you can make it back to your room okay, then go ahead and do it, right? So Nathaniel said, yes, alchemy was fabulous. Don't know what I had, but it was good. Yeah, it usually is. They usually do a great job. If you get something you're familiar with, ask them to make a little variation of it. They do a great job of making it just right. So absolutely. Did you get to show off your hairless back? Yeah, I did. A couple times. Went to the pool and went to the beach. So went to the beach before I went to the pool. I talked about Aruba, so Manchego Beach, and that's a beach I want to point out for anybody that's going to Aruba, because Aaron had looked up different beaches in Aruba, and I said, well, I want to go to a different beach because that way I can do a video on something I haven't done on, a different beach. So Manchego is, they say, one of the less crowded beaches, and the reason they think it might be a little bit less crowded is it's because it's on resort property, but it's a public beach. So when you go to Manchego, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, you actually have to go through the resort to get there. And then they drop you off in the resort parking lot. And then you walk in between the resorts, chairs and tables that are all nice and stuff. And you get to those regular huts. And you still can rent chairs, but if it's under the hut is free, and you just pay for whatever the chairs were. So we got there later in the day, and we were able to get a hut with a couple chairs, and they didn't even bother us to pay money for the chairs or anything until the very end. And we were about to leave anyway after we'd been there about 4 hours or something. So yeah, it's great, big, beautiful beach. White sands, everything. It's right by the resort property. There's a bar just down the way a little bit. There's, restrooms available and stuff like that. And it's not far from the port at all. So if you're looking for a different beach, you don't want to go to Eagle Beach because maybe it'll be too crowded. It'll be too hard to find shade and things like that. It might be a little pricier for the chairs and umbrellas. And you still want the ability to have a bar available to you and restrooms and everything. Manchego is a bar in Aruba that you could check out. Not a bar, a beach that you could check out in Aruba. And I think you will have a good time there. And again, it's close to port, so it won't cost an arm and a leg. I think it was $20 round trip for both of us. So, $5 each way for a private ride. And the guy said, we were the only two people in his van. And he said, well, we'll make it $20 round trip. He's like, what time you want me to pick you up? I was like a little hesitant about that because I'm like, okay, the guy's already got our money. Why is he going to come back? But he was good to his word. And right at 6:30, he pulled up and, jumped in the van. So we got a private ride there and a private ride back for only $5 each way. You couldn't beat it. So loved that. Fireball Steve is here. You know what, Fireball Steve, it's been a minute. If I had some Fireball, I would do a shot of Fireball right now. I only have the regular bourbon, but I did do Fireball, Steve. You'd be happy to know if you watched my day one cruise day when I was in Miami. We all did a shot of Fireball. So when the four of us are standing on top of the Hard Rock Casino, in that rooftop there, we did a shot of Fireball. So I know you would appreciate that. But good to see you again, Fireball Steve. It's been a minute, and yeah, I was thinking about you. So yeah, Fireball Steve is called Fireball Steve for a reason. For those of you that don't know, he is a big Fireball bourbon fan, whiskey fan. Yeah. So, all right. Does anybody have any other questions? The cruise director, I wanted to talk about really quick, give him a shout out. The cruise director is a lesser known cruise director. And so, honestly, I went on there with not the highest of expectations, but Tyler Meehan. And I do definitely want to give him a shout out because I was impressed. Will G was it Will G? Or no, Nathaniel. Nathaniel, you were just on there. So Nathaniel, let me know what you thought about him or if you got to interact with him at all. But when I first met him, introduced myself and said, hey, one of these times I'll follow you around a little bit and you can just kind of tell us about the events. It was very personable. And there was, I would say, at least 3 different occasions where probably 4 different occasions of the 8 days where I just saw him randomly walking through the crowd to talk to people, to talk to cruisers, and make himself available to give that personal experience to each and everybody. And as far as the deck parties and everything else, and if I think Erin's riding her bike in the basement or whatever, so she might not be able to type, but she could probably comment on it. But I thought his energy was really good, for the deck parties and dancing around and seemed to get everybody involved. And there was one particular deck party. I don't know if it was the mega deck party or a different party, but the place was packed and he had everybody going. I mean, everybody's arms were, going around and everything else like that. I got kind of an away shot from it. And yeah, that was cool. Another big treat, there was some repeated crew that I was very familiar with. I mentioned the Alchemist, but DJ Q. Some of you may remember that name. I've talked about him. I've had him featured. DJ Q was like Lee's personal DJ. Like anywhere Lee went, he wanted DJ Q to be his DJ. And why? Because DJ Q is the best. He is simply the best DJ I have seen at sea. I mean, I'm not a big clubber or anything like that, but the times I have gone in the club, DJ Q is just throwing it down. I mean, he gets out there and dances too, and he'll do backflips and things like that. One thing I heard from him that was a little bit discouraging is, and this is where you get the objectivity, right? From your cruise content creators and things like that. Carnival is a franchise. And just like, McDonald's is a franchise and things, the things with franchises is they want you to have the same experience from ship to ship, right? So like if you get a Big Mac at the McDonald's in Fort Wayne, Indiana, they want it to taste the same as the Big Mac in Los Angeles, California, right? Like it should be the same. Like it shouldn't be a big difference. Like, ooh, the one in LA is so much better or something like that. You should feel like, it could be from either place. Well, a lot of the things that Carnival do is great, right? We all have a great time. Well, I don't want to say all of those because everybody has a great time on Carnival, but a lot of things they do, people really have a lot of fun with. But the thing that's a little bit disappointing is to hear Carnival restricting some of their bigger talents and telling them, hey, we don't want you to do this or that. We want you to do this, this, this. And the same person that has lesser talent, you do this, this, this. Okay, to where you're telling all your people that are entertainers to, I don't want to say be less entertaining, but that's kind of what you're doing when you're restricting their freedom to kind of just let everything go and just really get into the moments and things like that and do different things and stuff like that. You're kind of restricting them. And I had heard that before, and I was sad to hear that DJQ, this might be his last contract. So yeah, but I did really enjoy getting to chat with him. He's a good friend. And yeah, Greg says, love DJQ. And Aaron says he was great at keeping people involved, entertaining kids, always smiling. I think she's referencing Tyler, but I know Aaron got to speak with DJQ as well. So she probably feels the same in regards to his level of talent. He's an incredibly talented individual. And Greg, who is a DJ himself, has cruised with DJQ 4 or 5 times with him also. So he knows just how good he is. And if you ever go back and look at some of my videos on the Evolution Party, DJQ kind of put all of that together. He was one of the first DJs to really put that whole show together. And I mean, now other DJs are able to run it and things like that. But I mean, that was an amazing party. So yeah, that would be one that you would definitely want to check out. I just been rambling and talking away here, and I see someone. Oh, there's Cheryl. Okay, yeah. Hey, Cheryl. That's the first comment I've seen from Cheryl. Did I miss anybody else? I hope I didn't. Okay, I'm scrolling back a ways, but yeah, I didn't see anybody new except for Cheryl. So yeah, welcome to the show. I'm going to take a drink because I'm thirsty. I've been just rambling and talking away here. And Greg and Michelle, I did not know that. Says funny that Evolution is only on a celebration. I thought it had spread to some of the other XL class ships, but I guess according to Greg and Michelle, Cruise Live TV, it's only on the celebration, which makes sense because that was Lee's ship. He was the inaugural cruise director. And as I mentioned before, the best DJ at sea, in my opinion, DJQ, was kind of like the DJ for that cruise. And if anybody's going to put a show together like the Evolution and be responsible, be the main host. I mean, there's obviously other performers that come on Evolution as well, but you need somebody like DJQ. And he kind of tried to show other people how to do it. So I'm pretty sure, they can do a decent job of it. We got D Kid here. He's saying, welcome back and good to see you again, D Kid. And DJQ said it would, but never ended up happening. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a shame. For those who've been on Celebration, been to the Evolution Party, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out one of my videos. And I actually put it on the thumbnail, so it should be easy to find. But scroll back to my Celebration videos, and you'll see it, and you can kind of see what it's all about. 28. It's 28 in Florida? You got to be kidding me. Where are you guys at? Let's see. How cold is it? Oh, okay. So I guess Cheryl is in DC. I don't know what the story is there, why you're in DC, Cheryl, but yeah, 28 degrees, upper East Coast. I can imagine it would be pretty cold up there. It was 18 degrees, I think, when I woke up this morning here in Chicago. So yeah, I miss being on the cruise. So looking forward to in about 3 weeks taking a flight back down to Florida, and hopefully it's in the 70s again and can enjoy that. North Shore Travelers says it's 19 in Minnesota. So Tim it's only 45 in Ocala, Florida. Did I pronounce that right? Ocala? Ocala? I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm sure, Tim, you can correct me. So yeah, even in Florida, it's cold. But The good thing, in relation to that cruise is you're going south towards the equator. So pretty much everywhere we went, it was high 70s, low 80s, partly sunny. I will say the first couple days of the cruise was very overcast and even raining. So I know some people were a little bit bummed because they couldn't lay out and enjoy the sun. It was definitely not a very sunny cruise, although, there was one day that we finally got to enjoy the pool, and it was plenty warm enough for that. There was another day where we were going to try to enjoy the pool, but this is the part about Carnival that I could probably do with less of. And it's one of the things that's nice about the XL class ships because the Serenity deck has its own pool, and so it's 21 and over, and the pool's smaller than it should be for that size of a ship, but at least there's a pool. You don't have that option when you go on a Vista class ship. You have to share with kids. And I mean, if there's a couple kids, I usually go to the Tides pool because it tends to be less kids back there. And the first time there weren't that many kids. And I would say it was about 2/3 of adults. And, everybody's just have a drink in their hand, enjoying the pool, just kind of standing there talking, chatting, whatever, and did that. But the second time, I mean, I counted like 14 kids. There's like 14 kids in the pool and like two adults. And it's like, yeah, no. So I went up toward to the Serenity deck and I'm like, okay, it's not super hot. Try to find a hot tub. And apparently everybody up there was thinking the same thing, escape the kids, because the hot tub, you couldn't even fit two more people in. And there was two hot tubs up there and they were both packed. So just kind of laid out on the sun loungers there, had a couple drinks, and that was it. So, but if I had the Havana area, that wouldn't have been a problem because if you get the Havana area, there's always room in the pool. The youngest kids that can go back there are 12 and over. And for whatever reason, most of the time I go to Havana. I know I was in the Havana with Fireball Steve, one cruise before. And yeah, I don't remember seeing any kids at all. And a couple other times before, hardly any kids at all. And then the last time saw some kids, but they were mature and they were probably 16, 17. So they were older kids as it was. Let's see, cruise life celebration there. Okay, cruise life tea wasn't just Lee and Q. So yeah, Greg and Michelle said the celebration wasn't quite the same. I uh, I have heard, people saying good things about the Mardi Gras still. I haven't heard much talk about the celebration recently. I did see Marty, I think it was today, is taken over on the celebration from Leon. So I think they're trading places there. But yeah, I mean, the celebration just doesn't quite seem the same without Lee. I know Louis Claire was taking care of him there for a while, but D-Kid on the celebration January 5th. Hope it's great. I'm sure it's going to be good, D-Kid. I'm sure it'll be good. I mean, it's not like the cruise director that makes a cruise, right? I mean, it's what we as cruisers make of it. But if you meet some great people, as I usually always do, like Jeff and Deborah, who we met on the cruise. We had a great time hanging out with them and several other people that we met. And then you meet great crew like, Karen, Diana as alchemists, the previous cruise were still there. And then Zora, is great. Jamie or Jaime, another alchemist, was great. And then we had Masha there, was really cool. Didn't hang out as much in Guys Pig and Anchor as the previous cruise, but those guys over there seem really cool and everything too. So it was really good. Havana on the Horizon was awesome. That was from Fireball Steve. And the Havana on the Vista class ships absolutely is awesome. Fred Brown, what are your thoughts on the Magic? We're going in January 25, our first time on the Magic. We watched your video. Well, I'll tell you what, Fred, the last couple cruises I've had on the Magic have just been great. You know, like the Magic itself, the ship itself, to me seems a little dated. But you know, like Erin, I know she's been on the Magic. That's the first cruise I actually met Erin, um, and she loves the Magic. And I got to say, the last time I was on the Magic, the band was amazing. It was like Lady and the Tramps or something like Lady and the Vamps, something like that. But it was like the best live band I'd heard on any cruise ship. They were just phenomenal. And some people don't like the Magic because Ocean Plaza is like right next to Alchemy Bar. And some Alchemy goers complain that they don't like the music right there because it can get too loud or crowded or whatever. I actually thought that was a plus because the music's right there. So long as you got a seat at the Alchemy Bar and you can sit there, you can enjoy both. You can have your Alchemy Bar and you can have music. So if the music is good, you know, you can really enjoy yourself. So I actually like that part. Another thing I think you would like is if you're somebody that enjoys the hot tubs and just kind of taking a dip, there are 4 large hot tubs on the promenade deck, deck 5, same place where Alchemy is and everything. And they're pretty large hot tubs, right? So, you know, you can probably find yourself a hot tub, and then there's more hot tubs on the Lido deck. So you have your tides pool up there on the Lido deck at the back of the ship. You got your main pool. Then there's a couple hot tubs as well, you know, by the tides pool. And then it's got all the other stuff. You know, you got your Blue Iguana Cantina, you got your Guys Burgers, you got your steakhouse, you got a Cucina de Capitano. I don't think there's a Gigi's on Magic, but yeah, the Magic is a good ship. The Magic's a good ship. I think you will like it. And then, yeah, there's Erin said, love the Magic. That was her first cruise ever, I believe. And Tim and Ben Tim is saying that Fred, Cheryl, and I like the Magic. Will G says all the Dream class ships really need a dry dock. Yeah, you know what, Will G? One thing I had mentioned this to Erin on this past cruise because we were talking about the thermal suites between the Dream class ships and the Vista class ships. The Dream class ships, which include the Magic, if you're going to do the thermal suite, it's fabulous. Everybody makes fun of me. I cannot pronounce this. I'm going to mess it up again. But the Thalassopy, whatever it's called, the Thalassopy pool or whatever, it's the giant whirlpool in the spa suite. So if you get the spa suite, you get in this gigantic hot tub. I mean, it could comfortably fit like 12 people. And they have this like fluted reclining metal bar things that, you know, the jets and blow all the water out on your back and just give you like this massage, and you can just lay back and just pass out on the Magic. So if you were going to get the thermal suite and enjoy 3 or 4 days just kind of hanging out in the spa for a few hours each of those days, that's a good spot. I think their thermal suite beats some of the newer class ships just by that whirlpool alone, the Thalassopy whirlpool or whatever. So yeah. Okay, North Shore Travelers got to get the kids ready for bed. You definitely got to do that, Eric. So Eric from North Shore Travelers, thank you for joining us. And I got to take another sip of a drink because I'm getting dry mouth here, doing too much talking. Well, I tell you what, kind of because I want one, I'm going to do a shot. Cheers to all of you. But since we have Fireball Steve on here, and this is his shot glass, I thought, you know what? This is his shot glass that we got. But want to thank everybody for watching, as always, for liking this show. So cheers to all of you that have made comments, any of you that are watching, And any of you that are watching this on a replay and you've watched all the way to the end of the show, cheers to you as well. And what's that shot glass? Cruising Family New Year's Eve 2022. And we're going, so this was 3 years ago, New Year's Eve shot glasses that Fireball Steve, that was on the Carnival Breeze. So again, cheers to everybody. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We got Christmas coming up. We got New Year's coming up. So happy holidays, everybody. Stay warm. And thanks for all of the good wishes and, cruising and everything else. Cheers, everybody. Woo. Okay. Oh, that first one hits hard. Yeah. All right. So we only got we got under 5 minutes left, and we still got over 30 people there. I love it. Again, if you haven't already hit the like button, if you could hit that like button, Fireball Steve is checking out. It's again, Fireball Steve, don't be a stranger. Come back sooner than you did. Kimberly is here. She says, cheers, coach. Been here multitasking tonight. Hey, I appreciate you checking in. Jeff T, who we, again, just met on the Horizon. Had a great time. And don't be a stranger, Jeff. Make sure you're coming back on a regular basis. Be good. Great to see you in the comments tonight and future nights. So I don't have a whole lot more. So unless I want to thank Tim G and Rick for the super chats today. And just thanks everybody else for the comments. I will be back next Tuesday. So let's see. Next Tuesday is, what's today? The 3rd, the 10th, the 17th. Okay, so I guess, I don't know if I'll have a show New Year's Eve, because that'll be the 24th would be my show. I'll be down visiting family, but I might still have a show. We'll see, but maybe not on the 24th. And then I guess, will the 31st be a Tuesday this year? That would be kind of fun to go live. I might do that anyway. Deanna Downey. Hi, I just booked my 65th birthday cruise on the Mardi Gras. All right. I love the Mardi Gras. I was telling somebody I got to get back on the Mardi Gras because I had a really, really great couple cruises on the Mardi Gras. So that would be a lot of fun to get there. And as Rick, the Texas Cruiser, says, everyone have an awesome week. Absolutely do that. Again, thank you everybody for watching. And I guess we'll get out just a couple minutes earlier because I don't know what else to say unless anybody has any other questions. All right, everybody. Peace. And we will see you next week. Take care, everybody. And appreciate the comments. Bye-bye.